Good day, welcome back to class. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to build a fresh, brand new website from scratch. What did I say? We are going to learn how to build a fresh, brand new website from scratch. We cannot build a website in just this video. We are going to take it bit by bit. The task has been divided into bits of codes, and we are going to go accordingly. Note that whatever that we have learned in HTML and CSS, we are going to apply them here accordingly. And those that we haven't heard before, as we progress in the lesson, we will be taught how to use the others. We are going to use HTML and CSS mainly, but as we progress as well, we are going to add some CSS frameworks that will help make our work a bit easier. Some of the CSS frameworks that we're going to use in this lesson is a Bootstrap, one of the main frameworks designed by Twitter to ensure that they have a consistent look on their pages. We'll tap into this great ingenuity and apply it in our website. Without wasting my time, I would want to show you a preview of the website we are aiming at designing. So let's go back to that's it. This is a very great website, and I saw this website from one of bootcamps available. I dedicate this video and I give the credit to Angela for such an honorable creative thing. For this and many reasons, we are going to try and replicate what Angela and the team did, and we are going to learn how to apply one or two things. I chose this from a lot because this will help us learn a lot. Learn new HTML elements, learn how to use HTML elements semantically, and also learn to use CSS accordingly, as well as Bootstrap. So this is the website we are aiming at designing. Our brand name is called a Tendor, and then we have some number which contains contacts, pricing, and download. As you could see, when we hover over the contact, we get some change of color, and as well as the pricing and the download. The Tendor is just a brand name, and we made it a link. So you could see when I place it here, you could see some link down at the side. I don't know if you have taken it. So you just check here where this guy is now. We're going to place it on, and you can see it was a link. Well as our contact and our pricing link, our download links as well. So by clicking on this, it sends us straight to the contact part of our page, which have some social media handles. Currently, these handles are not working. They haven't been programmed accordingly. If you have any handles as we progress with the lesson, you can add it in. And when a user clicks here, or there, or this, or that, will be sent to your handle accordingly. This for Twitter, this for Instagram, this for Facebook, this for emails. Then we have some download buttons over here. When we click on this, when we hover on this, they change colors accordingly. We also have some nice icons attached to these download buttons. We have the Apple Store or App Store icon, and we have the Play Store icon attached to this. Which means when we click on this, it sends us straight to App Store. When we click on this, it sends us straight to what? Play Store. For now, they haven't been included with any link, so clicking on it wouldn't change anything. Okay. As we progress and you learn how to develop websites and also mobile apps, then you will be able to provide a link. So in case you have a company that has a website, no, that has an app for both platforms, then you can put the link over here. Then as we progress, let me start from the top. So these are what I'm going to replicate here. You can see we have the same download buttons over here. They are almost the same. They have almost the same characteristics. So let's move down. So just after an hour, we have some line heading which has been styled nicely and been aligned accordingly. And as we move on, we have the download buttons. We have a very nice image with a very nice dial. I don't know if you like iPhone, don't use anything. Don't worry, the images on this I will provide. In case I'm unable to do that too, or you're unable to get that, then you can get your own images and include them accordingly. We also learn how to create what we call a carousel, which by clicking on this, it changes and gives us another one. Clicking on this, it changes and it gives us another one. Clicking on that, so that's exactly what we are going to apply. Then we'll have this just a testimonial page, and these people have used the products or the services of TikTok, and they are actually testifying how wonderful TikTok is. These also some of the things that talk about TikTok. You could see when we hover over the icons, they changes color. They change color, sorry. When we hover over them, they change color. And we are trying to establish as yes, TikTok is the best service that your dog can get. So you could see as we are here, these guys are just moving, they are moving, they are moving. You get it? So by hovering, they change color and then say something small about our TikTok website. So this Beverly from Illinois, and she has tried TikTok. That's what she says. So this is just some sort of creativity from Angela, and we have to praise her for that. Then we have some nice big companies who claim to have used TikTok. They want to testify. So you could see we have the next word here. We have Business Insider, Mashable, TC Tech Crunch. Okay, that's TC stands for TechCrunch, and they claim to have used this site. After that, we'll have to sell, right? Get something for our people to buy. So you come here and you're able to see Wawa, Labrador, Mastiff, and they are all plans for our website visitors to be able to sign up with us. If you want a free package, you get. If you want $49 only for a month, you get. And if you want just $99 for a month, you get some nice packages. For now, these things are not linked with any site at all, but we are just creating it for you to know for you to know how it works. So that's fine. Then we have some nice part. This is find the true love of your dog's life today. So you have a dog though, and you want it to enjoy as you are enjoying it. So by clicking on these two, as I said earlier on, they are just links buttons. They don't point anywhere at the moment, but as you continue, you learn to incorporate them accordingly. That's fine. So then after that, we have a copyright for TikTok, our social media handles. So this is what we are aiming at designing at the end of the day. And we cannot, as I said, design completely this thing in just one video lesson. For this and many other reasons, we'll just tackle them bit by bit. We'll just start with the structure, that's the HTML part of the thing, and also progress accordingly. When we finish with the structure, we are going to move on with the styling, which is mainly done with CSS as well as Bootstrap. So as we progress, I'll let you know what Bootstrap is, how to use Bootstrap, and how to incorporate Bootstrap. enter your workflow. Okay. So for this and many other reasons, we head back to VS Code and start up something. So first of all, let's try and save our work and give it a very nice name. So I am calling my team.html. You can give it any name at all, any name at all that you deem appropriate. Calling my team. And note, as we progress, you can choose to give whatever names, whatever titles, whatever designs that you wish to give to your website. The main goal is that you are getting the concept and you are able to apply it, even though if not specifically to this website, in other websites or projects that you might be taking some time to come. So that's the main goal of this lesson. So first of all, we are just trying to replicate the first section of our website, which starts from the number and ends at this side, where our image seems to fall back behind an S-bar. Okay, so let's go back here to our history. First of all, we just have to get our HTML skeleton, and that one alone is good for us to start something. Just have to change the title here to maybe $10. It's okay for you. If you don't want $10 and you are designing for some company else, use the name or whichever name you think is appropriate. Now, I want to introduce you to a wonderful element called a section element. Section element. So I'll just type section and select that. Maybe this is your first time of hearing this or knowing of this element. For that reason, I will just place my cursor on it and will get a very nice explanation from MDNF in VS Code. It says the section element represents a generic section of a document or application. A section in this context is a thematic grouping of content. Each section should be identified typically by including a heading H1, H6 element as a child of the section element. So if you understand this and understand it well, then it means at the end of the day, we should get some H1 to some H6 element here. And that will perfectly define what a section element is. So maybe you have heard of this before or you have used this before. But what I want to let you know is that when you go to our website are divided into sections. And semantically, it is great that we also divide it into sections so that each section has its own word, content, different from the outside or nearer or neighboring sections. Okay, so you can see the first section is mainly for our headings, for our numbers, for our nice image, which will be a company image or whatever you might call it. Then we have this. So just after this, we don't need anything here again. So this section has its own unique content, and so it might be separated from the other section. I would want to show you a very nice concept here. Maybe sometimes you want to create classes. Maybe sometimes you will want to create titles or IDs. It is very important to learn some shortcuts to make your work a bit easier. So first of all, whichever element that you need to create, you have to write the element names in full. Then afterwards, you bring, if it's a class, classes, when you are selecting them in your style sheet, you start with what? A full stop. If it's a class, then you start just after the name of the image, you start with a full stop. And whichever name that you want to give it, you can give it. So let's say I want to give this the name title. So just after this, I'll click on enter. It's create this for me automatically. Create this for me automatically. So you can see we have a class name title in our section. If I don't want a class, then I will use what? the pound sign. We are selecting IDs in your style section or in your style sheet. You will need a pound sign or the hash symbol to get this done, right? So I'll just do that and maybe try to finish this up. By clicking on this, I get my ID as well created. ID. So we are just trying to learn some key differences over here, some simple steps that we can use as website developers to make our work a bit easier for our own self. So let's go inside. Our first section is the title section. The title section contains almost everything that in its real meaning or in its representation or context here represents a title. So we can see we have the nav bar, which is part of the title. We have some nice, neat, new, and interesting docs nearby, which is also a title. There are some buttons, image of, and this is what we're going to do. So first of all, you can see we need a nav bar. Okay, if you want to create a nav bar, then you should get some. So first of all, I want to show you some quick method of getting a comment. If you want to get a comment, just press Ctrl plus / symbol. Get a comment. What did I say? Control plus the / symbol to get your comment. If you are on Mac, it's Command plus the. So here we just want to a title section. Okay. So comment our work native is our work easier to understand or comprehend when we want to, come back one day some reshuffling or editing. Right, so this is our title section. And inside of our title section, get our navbar. So I've done the same thing. So I'll say navigation as of title section. Yeah, so that's fine. Nope. Okay, so that's our navigation. What do we need to create an application? Remember the first time we created an application, I pointed to different parts of a website. I don't know if you still remember this video. If you haven't, then maybe you have to go back and watch. As I promised, this is going to take us through every little thing we have learned. We are going to program the thing like a real website development. So semantically, the nav element is used for navigation. So in this case, I will need a class. I will just call it nav bar. Then I'll click on enter and I should get a class straight out. So I have a class created. Now we want to know what the nav is used for. I'll just place my icon on that and we are good to go. Then the nav element represents a section of a page that leads to other pages or to part within the page. A section with navigation links. So you can see that. So the nav element is generally for links that point to other part of the page or within the page or outside the page. And that's why we are using this. Semantically, this is what the nav element is used for. Okay, that's fine. So let's move on. Now we want our nav element to contain uh, ordered lists, which is very good for creating websites or else, yes, creating contact items or link items. So we call this guy. So what am I creating here? You could see I've written the name of the element, which is an ordered element, and it is represented with what? UL. Just after that, I have some full stop, and I'm going to give it a name. Okay. Okay. So uh, link item, link items container, and we will be good. Am I writing? Container. Click on enter, I should get my UL element created with some nice class that I've given. Bam. So inside of that, we will need an element, which is the Li element, which represents for this item. And this time, I want three times of this. Very good time, because as you can see on our page, we have three of these, right? We have three of these. So yes, and how do I get a three straight away? I get it by writing the name of the element, then getting my multiplication symbol, then the number of times I need it, and bam. And maybe I can even still give it, I don't know if it works. I can even still give it a class. I'm going to call that item. Bam, let's see if it works. So there we go. You see, we've gotten three different list items straight away without wasting any much time. Without wasting any much time, and they all have the same class as what link item. Now I want to show you one interesting thing. Press on your control plus your alt, then move down one, two. You have seen that we have been able to select three different things at the same time. What are we going to use this for? Okay, so you get to know. We are going to create a link, because you know that navigation links, these are just links. Okay, and by clicking on them, it sends us to different parts of the page. So we are going to create that, and we use the anchor element. I hope you remember this. Okay, I hope you remember. Okay, so we are going to create that. And we are going to say what. Okay, just enter. There we are. Now we'll just leave the hypertext reference part. Okay, so you just represent this guy with okay, so let's leave it empty for now. And let's select this one part of our work now, so that we can give it different names, different types. So the first part is contact. The next part is pricing. Yes, price. And the next part is download. Okay. Next part is download. Whether download or downloads. Ah, I'm sure it's download. Good. That's fine. So that's that. Okay. I'm sure you might be very curious to ask, where is Tinder? And you know about one thing about HTML is whatever you write first comes what first. Whatever you write first, that's what comes first. So these are very important things. Move on. So today, if not for anything, you have learned some few tricks when it comes to creating. Okay? When it comes to creating uh, nav bar or nav items, it is very important. We are going to apply this a lot. So you take key note of that. Okay, it makes your work a bit easier as a designer. Okay, so let's move on. You could see, as I said earlier on, our brand name is not here, which is Tinder. And as I said earlier on, with HTML, whatever you write first comes first. So as I've written here, contact comes before what? Download. We don't expect to see download before contact on our page when we view it on in the browser. You get it? So this is one key thing that you have to note as you progress with your design. Okay, so let's move on here. Then we go here, get some nice anchor element, and we're going to give it a class. And what should the class be? We'll just call it brand name. Okay, brand name. By clicking on it, I create my anchor element with with what is it? What is it? With a class, and the name of the class is what brand name. So we move on and write our test here now. So think dog, we are good to, that's fine. Now I expect and suspect everything should be done by now. We don't have to be writing. Okay. So here too, we can choose to get some. We can choose. We can choose to get some what comments. So we can we know what we are doing. So creating brand name. Maybe we are going to do. You don't have to comment too much as I'm doing here, but just to show you that commenting is an essential part of your programming career. So let's save our work first. We don't have to be writing too much so that after or at the end of the day, if we go to our browser and view and we don't get what we were expecting, it will be very tedious for us to find out where the bug is, how to get rid of that bug. You get it? So that's that. It is always important that you do your work. A small thing that you write, go back to your browser, view it, and if there are any corrections to be made, you make that correction accordingly. Okay. So now I will have to right click on the tab that contains the name of my file here, which is string.html, or copy path. Then go to my browser, create a new tab, then I'll paste this guy here, and I'll view my work. So far, this is what we have. I don't know if you can see it, or maybe I should. So that's fine. Now this is what we are having. We have Tinder, we have contact, we have pricing, download. We will use styling to remove these guys that are here, the underlining here. You know the reason why we are having the underlining. We are having the underlining because we use the word anchor and you know lens are automatically underlined. So after this, what else do we need? We need this guy, right? Meet new and interesting docs nearby. And don't forget, when we read about the section element, what did it say? Each and every section element must have what? An H1 to 6 element in that. So it means that if we are actually creating a section element or we are using a section element, then our H1 to H6 element is imperative. You have to get that. So H1. And do you think we should give it some class here to show that it is what? Title here? Maybe needed, maybe not. But just call on H1 and bam. Then it says what? Meet you and hereby, right? Hereby some stop us. There we go. Let's go back to our browser, refresh, sure we are getting what we want to get. It's new and indoors nearby. I hope you are learning. I hope you are going with us. Don't be left behind. Now, what is the next thing that we need? We need some buttons, right? That contain this download. Okay. So let's go on our site. Then just after this guy, we need some buttons. Maybe the buttons to have a div element. Okay, so we will have to get maybe a comment, download buttons, right? And it's download. Then we have commented that out. I'm telling you, commenting is part of your work as a programmer, but it will help you here if you can come back, manage, edit, or adapt something to your web page so that you know where to go at what time. Okay, so we'll get a div element. Maybe this is your first time hearing of the div element. I'm going to give it a class and I'm going to call it maybe download buttons. Okay, so you have to note how I'm naming the classes. It's very, very important. If this is your first time of hearing or getting to know the div element, the div element is almost like the section element, and all it does is to contain and also differentiate a part of content from the others. Okay, so let me put it on that and we wait. The div element has no special meaning at all. It represents its children. Okay, it can be used with the class, lang, and title attributes to mark up semantics common to a group of consecutive elements. So the consecutive element we are going to use here is the button element, right? So we're going to create a button and maybe uh, we're going to call them up. What is this? Sorry, maybe nice. Bam. Okay. So I was supposed to get to this rather. Maybe come here. Multiply by 2, right? Remember by 2 and click on get. Just want to make my oh sorry. Let's move on. Buttons. Button uh for both legs. Okay, so we've gotten two, I guess. That's fine. So just have to move this guy also. You might ask yourself, why is it that when we did this one, the list item element, we had them on three different lines, but on the button element, we have them on the same horizontal line. Why is this happening? You remember what we said of a block element and an inline element. A block element chooses to occupy the whole horizontal space that is apportioned to it. But with inline element, they fill all the horizontal space available, and when there is not enough space again, then they move to the next part or they move down to the next line available. You get it? So the pattern element is what? An inline element, whereas the list element is a block level element. So that's the reason why we have seen the list element taking each line or each row accordingly, but the button element choose fill the horizontal space. So we just have to break it down and tell it, master, oh yeah, come here. Now, what do you think we need? They all have download, right? So we're just going to press on Control plus Alt and move up one. Then we'll be able to select this and give it the same content at the same time. So we just have to do it, right? So that's fine. We are able to name these two at the same time. So let's press Control plus S, save our one, go back to our browser, and maybe refresh. And by refreshing, press Control plus R, should be able to refresh your page. Okay, so this is what we are having. Nice download buttons. Nice buttons. So I don't know how come people these styles, but this style, but they claim to be download buttons. They have this feature. Okay. Now, what else do we need? What else do we need? We need an image, I guess. Where's our nice one? So this image I will send you. I will attach it to file. So our next thing is to add image. I hope you are following. Okay, you are following. Now we are moving on to adding an image. Then the image, what do you think we should get some comment for it? What should we call it? Call it title. It's ing for image or title. Okay, so let's move on. Then the image, should we include the image in if? That's what you do. So I separate that from the rest. So maybe if you can say title image, title is in this. Okay. The inside of that, what do I need? I need the image element. Remember this guy? Image element. Then the source is going to be, where's my image even located? Is located in Windows start. Okay, so first of all, remember how to link back to others. First of all, if I do this, I do that, what happens? Go back the roots. Okay, then I will be able to select with with VS Code. The word is made very simple. Go to images and I choose why is iPhone 6. iPhone 6. You get it? So when you use the two full stops and a forward slash, it takes you to the root. That's the main folder that contains all your other files. And then you'll be able to move accordingly. I always want to use this because it makes the work easier for me. And with VS Code, when it becomes even much more simpler for me. So Control plus S, save our way, go back to our browser, then refresh. Not you need this error. So we want to refresh this. So we have this image taking up the whole page. Right. But we are going to maintain this for today. Okay. We are going to maintain this for today. Let's see. Do you know the reason why we have the image down here? Different from this, the image is what an inline element, and we expected it to be yes at the next part of this, right? Or a div element. Okay. But you should remember that we contain the image in a div element so that it can also have some space for it to serve. You get it? We'll size our image later on, but for now, you could see that inside of our download links, and inside of our download links, we have, let's come to this. We have these nice icons. This one for Apple, one for Play Store. I don't know. So how do we get these nice images that's there or icons? Let's go back here. I think I'll have to open another browser. Let me open this guy. We have a very important website that website developers and designers mostly visit for their needs of pictures, icons, or whatever they. For icons, we normally go to. Okay, so for icons, we normally go to the site fontawesome.com, and we are able to get icons that we use. Icons we would no, shouldn't take as much effort or something. Okay, so maybe we'll end here. We will include the icons and the others in our next part of the program. Okay, so today we have been able to design this, come up with this part, the first part or the first section of this thing, and maybe we'll just do that. So maybe let's go to this guy, maybe create a new this thing. So we would be able to change the background, guess the background for today. Guess the background for we are going to create an external uh, file sheet. And what name are we going to call that one? Uh, Maybe I'm going to call it Tinder or CSS. So that this is for Tinder, right? The CSS. And don't forget we have in this section a section we give it an ID called title. And we go back inside our Tinder.css. We go back inside our Tinder.css. We want to target an ID. How do we go about it? Use the pound symbol, right? Pound symbol, then the name of the ID title, in this case, get it some space, get opening and closing, curly braces. Then inside of that, we will change the background color and get the background color to this color. Uh, let me check something here. This for let's change it to this color FM4C68. FM4C. I hope you see the color we are getting. 8. Wow. So this is the only thing we are doing. But this wouldn't take effect on our website until we do what? Until we add it up. Right. That is after before the title. So I just could get some. You know how to link CSS? Or the name of the CSS that we want. We just want maybe by clicking on end of CSS, end.css to work, right? If you want to check, just press Control, then click on the link and see if it works. So now it has brought us here, which means our link is what working. So that's a way to check links are for. We go back to our site, fresh, and then we should see background. Right? We will be dealing with this spaces that we are seeing here the next time continue with the lesson. But for now and today, we'll end here and continue at a time. Don't need the spaces we are getting around it. What do you think the spaces are from? Where do you think they are coming from? So maybe you can inspect it and check this section element. Okay, let's inspect that. Let's inspect that. Check it and maybe deal with it now or maybe tomorrow or another. We just have to get our session element. We just need session. And what do we see? Awesome. Yeah. We'll go to the CSS box model later on. Don't worry at all. So the section displays block. The margin, they are all zero around. Padding is also zero around. So why are we having this? We will deal with that later on. We'll deal with that later. mounting a cell. Let me see. You can just click this and maybe give it some figures. 17 and pardon. So, we see Phoenix. Okay, so we just leave this one for another time. Just leave this one. So for now, we'll just stick with this. Okay. So this alpha we got into. We have our brand name. We have our content. We have our download. Outfit. We are good to go for now. We are good. So we'll end here and take it out for next time. You have a nice day and your study because it's the only thing that you can do. Okay. Bye bye.